In this video, we'll be looking at the functions and features of the Brother Innov NV 1300. On the side, you have your on-off switch. You have the socket where the power cable goes into, and you have the hole here for when you plug in the foot pedal. At the front, you have the hole where you put the knee lifter. And you'll be using that to lift the presser foot, or you can use the presser foot lever to lift it instead. This section here is your flatbed, and it's removable. Once you take it out, it has two compartments. This side has your spare feet. It has space for your bobbins, and it has your feet, spare feet in there. This is your buttonhole foot. This is the blind hem stitch foot. This is the general sewing on foot. I've got the monogramming foot in the machine, so I've put the general sewing foot in here, which is J. This one is the zipper foot. This one is the overlocking foot. And this one is the button sewing foot for when you're sewing on a button. This is the seam ripper. Don't know, I'm supposed to get that out, but that's the seam ripper. Oh, there it is. This is your seam ripper. Take it out, put it that way, if you don't know. Put that back in there. And then it has space at the bottom to put whatever else you want to put in there. I've got some other feet in there, and I'll put that back in there. Oops. And then my other side, I've got the little bag with all the accessories in. Okay, this is a spool net. You put this on when you're using a thread that's probably a bit unruly, probably like monofilament or something like that. That doesn't lay that flat, so you put this on and then you can use it while it's in this. Screwdriver, set of needles, eyelet punch, twin needle, another screwdriver, another screwdriver, something you put on the end of the spool, insert, spool insert, cleaning brush, I have to drop something, cleaning brush, large spool cap, medium spool cap. The small one is actually in the machine. And this is the little accessory pouch that came with the machine. So this one I just keep in here. And I'll keep my walking foot in there. This, yeah, keep the walking foot in there. Okay. When you look at the back of the machine, you have a switch here. This controls the feed dogs. The feed dogs are the teeth here that pull the fabric through. So if you put the switch, the feed dogs will go down. And this is what most people do when they're doing free motion. You put the feed dogs down so that you can move the fabric more easily across. But personally, when I free motion, I don't lower them. I leave them there, and I just turn my stitch length to 0, or as near to 0 as possible, depending which machine I'm using. So as you can see there, they're up at the moment, and I'm going to turn the switch and they're going to go down. So they're gone down. So now when the needle is working, these will not come up, they'll stay down. I'm going to put them back, and once I turn the hand wheel, they'll raise up again. When you need to change the feet, when you're sewing, you press this little release here, and the foot comes off. Then you can take it out, and then you can put a different foot in its place, and you just lower the presser foot lever. I'm trying to do this sideways, and you want to catch that bar. That bar there is what you need to connect it to. Sorry, trying to do this sideways. There you go. And then that's how you put your new foot on. Now, some of the feet that you will use in sewing requires you to take the whole of this ankle or shank or whatever they call it. Needs to take the whole thing off, because it comes with its own one. Like, for example, a free motion foot. Okay, like the walking foot, for example. You have to take the whole thing off to be able to put this walking foot on. What you need to do is take a little screwdriver and unscrew this screw here and take the whole thing off. Let me just do it. Is this not the right screwdriver? Some sort of thing here. No, this is not the one either. No. Okay, yeah, this is the one. This one here. Where are we? That's the one we need. Yeah, so what you do, you unscrew that, lift that up, and take the whole thing off. And then you'd put your next foot on, which would be, say you're putting the walking foot on, you'd put it there, and then you'd screw that into the hole. Or if you're putting, just say for example, the free motion foot, that connects that way, and then you'd screw that into there. But seeing as I'm not using any of those at the moment, I'll put them back, put them away. Put this one back on. Sometimes it can be a bit fiddly, especially when you're doing it on camera. Now, after a bit of fiddling around, finally got it in. So you just tighten that. Like that there. Put the foot back on. Okay. So this is your presser foot lever. Also under here you have this lever here. You pull it down. When you're using the buttonhole foot, you pull this down. Then that will determine where the foot stops to make the hole the size of the button that you will already have in the buttonhole holder, in a buttonhole foot. So you put that up, and then down here you have the bobbin case, and this is the needle plate. I'm going to put this flatbed back on. This is the time you'd put your extension table on if you have one. If not, then just use your flatbed. And once this is off, you can also use this bit to when you're doing cuffs or trouser leg. You use this. Use the free arm to do cuffs and trouser legs. This is the start-stop button. You can use it with or without the foot pedal. If you have the foot pedal in, you cannot use the start-stop button. But if you don't have the foot pedal in, you can sew without with or without the foot pedal. So without the foot pedal, you can just use start stop. With the foot pedal, you press the foot. This is the reverse stitch button. You would use that to secure your stitch, reinforce your stitch at the beginning and reinforce it at the end, and at any other point that you choose. This is also a reinforced stitch. This is a lock stitch. This reinforces the stitch. This can reinforce the stitch at the beginning and at the end. If you're sewing, straight sewing, and you press the lock stitch, it will just stop. If you're sewing a pattern from one of the decorative sections and you press the lock stitch, it will finish sewing that pattern and then it will stop. This is the needle down position. Its default setting is needle down, but you can go into the settings and change it to needle up if you choose. This is the thread cutter button. You can once you've reinforced your ends either way with using the back stitch or the lock stitch, you've reinforced the finish, your stitch, finished sewing it and you reinforced it, then you can cut the threads with this one. If you're using thick threads, very thick threads and metallic threads, it's not advisable to use the thread cutter, otherwise it can damage the blade. So it's best to use them on your side cutter, which is round here. This one is your variable speed control. So you can go from dead slow through to medium fast to even faster. If you set it on dead slow or anywhere in between or any of them, and you're using the foot pedal, no matter how far down to the ground you're pushing that pedal, it won't go any faster than what you've set it at with this button. So it's good if you're doing something delicate and you want to take the time to stitch it, then you can stitch it slow. And if it's just straightforward sewing, you can go faster. Inside the cover we have our thread holder and our threading system, our bobbin winder, and also have the patterns, all the stitches. I'm going to pan through this slowly because the other videos I've seen, they've gone through it so fast you can't even look at the stitches properly. So these are the utility stitches. This is the wider range of utility stitches, and they go from 1 down to 99. So you have I think it's about 10 different buttonholes on there. 2, 3, 4, 5. 10 or so different buttonholes you have on there. And you also have an eyelet stitch there, and you also have sideways stitching, straight stitching sideways and up and down, and zigzag stitches sideways and up and down. Okay, when we go over to our decorative stitches, now they're divided into 3 sections, which we'll call decorative 1, decorative 2, and decorative 3. These are the stitches in the first section. They go from 1 to 40, and in there you have 97, which is my custom stitch. That's the stitch where I can design my own stitch. And also you can see there 98 and 99, and that's over as well in, oh no, they're saying something different in that one, forget that. 98 and 99, and go over the other side. Decorative 2 has 98 and 99, and decorative 3 has 98 and 99. Okay, come back over here. what 98 and 99 are. They are step stitches. So if you, that means if you can select a stitch, and then if you select 98 or 99, depending on which way you want to shift the pattern, then when it does the next pattern, it does one pattern, then you select where you want the step to go, which direction. Then when you do the pattern again, it will be shifted offline slightly, and then if you put your step pattern in again, and it can be shifted offline again. So what actually happens, it stitches and then goes over, stitches and then goes, or stitches and goes over in a kind of step pattern. But each step you have to actually physically put in the 98 or the 99, whichever direction you're going in. Okay, now we're going to go over to decorative 2. That's another set of stitches from number 1 through to number 43. Yeah, number 43. I'll load the stitches there. Then we go over to decorative number 3. And that goes through to from number 1 to number 58. And that includes step stitches 98, 99 as well. Some of these stitches actually, brother, are quite cheeky, to be honest, because you have some stitches in here that's double and triple in here. There's a stippling stitch in there, I've seen in there 3 times, and you've got a whole lot of straight stitches, that's the same, zigzags, that's the same, overlocking stitches, that's the same, but it doesn't matter. So I'm going back over. Then we're going to go over to the font. The font. Okay, this machine does uppercase and lowercase. And it's got 5 different fonts. It's got what are they? Handwriting, Japanese. Oh, I can't think right now. But I'll cover the stitches in another video. But for now, these are all the stitches in the machine. I'll have to actually do another video to do the control panel because my battery is going to run out now. So I'll be back shortly with another video. Thank you.